I had this caddy once at Royal Dornoch. You ever been to Royal Dornoch? It's way, way north. You go to like the Loch Ness Monster and you go 2 hours north, and I'm like the only guy there, and I got this caddy every day for 6 straight days, and his name was Sandy, right? And he, you know, he had like the mushroom cloud ear hair and the red cheeks and 3 sport coats, and he looked like he woke up in a refrigerator box, you know, and he hardly said a word, and I met him, you know, and he'd always put the right club in my hand, but he wouldn't say a word, you know, and at the end of the first day, I'm like, well, Sandy, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. He goes, are you not going to partake of the tradition? I'm like, what's the tradition? You buy your caddy a wee dram of scotch. I'm like, okay, and apparently in this club, Dornoch, you can take your caddy up for 1 small thing of scotch, and then he has to leave. So we went in, and he poured, he wanted Macallan's. I don't know if you've ever had Macallan's. It's the most lovely single malt scotch, and I'd never had it. And so we enjoyed our Macallan's, and we did this for 6 straight days. And nothing, no conversation, nothing. Finally, the last day, you know, I'm getting ready to go home. We're at our last night. And I'm like, Sandy, have you drank Macallan's your whole life? Trying to get something going, you know. And he goes, not yet. I like that line, not yet. Call Who's Your Caddy? This is which I caddied for 12 famous people like Donald Trump and John Daly. And it was just great fun. It was... I started with this guy at the Masters, this guy Tommy Aaron. I'd never caddied in my life, but I always loved caddies, and caddies tell you the best stories, and I thought this is a great way to get to know people on the tour. And the book came out great. But this guy Tommy Aaron won the 73 Masters, and he let me have his bag for the week, and I found out why I got his bag is because he's like 3 of the crotchiest people you'd ever put together. You know, I mean, he's always mad about something, right? And I found that out on the first day. It was like a practice day, Wednesday. And he hits this shot on the 5th hole. It's a long par 4. And, you know, he's getting older, so he doesn't. And I'm like, get up, get up. And he turns to me and says, keep your mouth off my ball. And I'm like, I don't know what to say to that. Keep your mouth. I said, no, I'm using this wet towel. I'm not using my mouth. And he goes, never speak to my ball, ever. You know, and I so much wanted to say, well, you've made 4 double bogeys. Maybe somebody ought to have a little chat with your ball. I caddied for Jack Nicklaus. That was fun. Except, you know, you got a lot to do. You're interviewing the guy. You're getting him water. He's constantly hitting practice shots to show people different things, you know. And it was raining. We're at Vail. I remember we're at Vail. And we get to the 13th hole, and I'm feeling pretty cocky, right? And so I have my little yardage thing. I go, Jack, this hole, this is a short par 4. But you want to be careful because there's a hidden lake on the left, and then you want to be on the 3rd plateau on this one because otherwise it's hard to 2-putt. And he goes, yeah, I know. I built the course. That's my bad. I forgot that. I thought I was here to be a sports writer. All I wanted to do was work at Sports Illustrated. That was my goal in life. I wanted to quote Yogi Berra saying stuff like, you got to come to your friends' funerals or they're not going to come to yours, you know. You know, I wanted to quote, I remember Red Smith once wrote a line about Bowie Kuhn. Remember the old boring baseball commissioner? And he said, an empty limousine pulled up to the Plaza Hotel and Bowie Kuhn got out. It's not that kind of lie, right? So my whole goal in life was to be at Sports Illustrated. I'm at the Denver Post. I think I'm 25 years old. I get a call. I got my 2 roommates are there, and one of them answers, and they holler up, Rick, it's Sports Illustrated for you. I'm like, oh. And I cut myself shaving. You know, this is my big break. I dive at the phone. I said, is this really Sports Illustrated? They said, yes. Is this Rick Reilly? I said, yeah. They go, did you know for 83 cents an issue? Yeah. I was like, the coolest thing I've ever seen was in a locker room in the shower. And they're like, what? I said, well, it was John Elway. He finally wins a Super Bowl after just getting hammered 3 straight Super Bowls, each time worse than the next. And, you know, we knew felt like his career wouldn't be complete without it, but he always kind of pretended it would be. So he goes and they beat the Packers at San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium, which is, I don't think it's there anymore. It was an old stadium. And so he does the national press, he does the local press, he meets all his fans, the confetti comes down. By the time he gets back to the locker room, it's just me, the old towel guy that's was there for 30 years, and Elway. And because I have a morning deadline, I said, John, can you give me just 5 more minutes, you know, just anything new? He goes, I'll give you 5 minutes, let me take a shower, but then I'm going to the party, because all his teammates had gone to the party, everybody's gone. So we hear him in there, he's in there showering, you know, it's just me and the towel guy waiting for him outside in the locker room. And we hear him in there, and he's like, yeah, woo, all right, yeah. And, I turned to the towel guy. I said, you know what that is? I'm writing this down, That's the sound of a guy getting redemption. That's a man getting the monkey off his back. Isn't that cool? We're here. Finally he's alone in that sort of primal joy, And he goes, nah, we ran out of hot water.